Hey everyone, Robert here, Generac factory trained technician with over 20 years under my belt. Today, we're tackling a crucial maintenance task, adjusting the valves on your air-cooled Generac generator. This is super important for smooth running, efficiency, and reliability. Now, I know some of you are handy and you like to do things yourself, and that is great. This video will give you all of the information you need to make an informed decision about this important maintenance procedure. I'll guide you through the basic process step by step, sharing some pro tips along the way. By the end, you'll have a clear understanding of what's involved, and you can decide what's the best approach for you. Why bother with valve adjustments? Well, they make sure the intake and exhaust valves open and close at precisely the right time. Ignoring this can lead to reduced performance, hard starts, extra wear and tear, and that dreaded alarm code 1100 overcrank fault. In the worst case scenario, total engine failure. Nobody wants that. So this service is recommended after the first 25 hours of use, and this initial adjustment is especially important because it's part of the engine break-in process. During break-in, components seat themselves and valve clearances can change. After this initial service, it's recommended every 400 hours or 4 years, whichever comes first. Now, if you own a 2019 or newer 14 or 18 kW model with the 816cc engine, good news, you have hydraulic lifters and can skip this. For everyone else, stick with me. Here's what you'll need. A feeler gauge set covering clearances between 2 thousandths and 4 thousandths inches, 10mm socket, 13mm wrench, 14mm wrench, your specific model might require it, 10mm Allen wrench, 5/8 inch spark plug socket, and some new valve cover gaskets. Even if your old gaskets look okay, trust me, replace them. It's cheap insurance against leaks. Now, gathering all of these tools, parts, and supplies is the first step, especially if you don't already have them. I'll put a complete list in the description below. First things first, safety. Close the fuel valve and disconnect the battery. Now, let's remove the spark plugs using our 5/8 inch socket. This releases compression and makes turning the engine much easier. Next, we'll need the ability to turn the engine by hand. So on most models, this means removing the left side rear panel to access the exhaust fan. Now, I know some folks might try to just remove the front-facing exhaust panel cover and reach in there like you're searching for a French fry that fell in between your car seats. And yes, technically that is possible on some models. However, I prefer to take a few extra seconds, remove the entire exhaust compartment cover, and this allows for a much more comfortable working position when hand cranking the engine. Unless you have a prehensile tail. So let's be honest, most homeowners are not racing the clock here. Turn the engine counterclockwise as you face the fan. This is the correct rotation for this procedure. Now, for the tricky part, finding top dead center on the compression stroke. This is where precision is key. If you're off even slightly, it can throw off the entire adjustment. You'll know you're there when both the intake and exhaust valves are fully closed. A handy trick is to stick a non-metallic object like a plastic straw or a zip tie into the spark plug hole. Watch it rise as you turn the engine. When it's at its highest point, the valves are fully closed and bingo, you found top dead center. This step requires a good eye and some patience. Now, I know there might be a few seasoned engine pros out there getting their fingers warmed up for the comment section, and I appreciate your expertise. There's more than one way to skin the valve lash cat, but in this video, we'll be focusing on Generac's approved method, adjusting both valves at top dead center on the compression stroke. This is the manufacturer's recommended procedure for these generators. At top dead center, grab your feeler gauges. The clearance for both intake and exhaust should be between 2 thousandths and 4 thousandths inches. Here's a little tip from me. Because the exhaust valve runs hotter, I like to set it at 4 thousandths inches and the intake at 3 thousandths inches. Now, since we're at top dead center on the compression stroke, we'll check and adjust both the intake and exhaust valves at this position. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know which valve is which? And that is a great question. easiest way to tell is that the exhaust valve is closest to the exhaust manifold where the exhaust gases exit the engine, and the intake valve is closest to the intake manifold where the air enters the engine. With that cleared up, loosen the rocker arm jam nut with your 13mm wrench. Adjust the pivot ball stud with your 10mm Allen wrench until you get the right feel. Then tighten the jam nut to about 14.5 foot-pounds, and this is a bit of a three-handed job, but you'll get the hang of it. Next, you'll have to recheck the valve clearance to make sure it didn't change when you retightened it. This is where experience really makes a difference. Our technicians do this day in and day out. They have the Midas touch. Now, the service manual does give you torque specs in Newton meters, but we are sticking with the Imperial system for this video, aka Freedom units. Time for new spark plugs. Now, you might be thinking, my old plugs look just fine. Can't I just clean them up and reuse them? And sure, you could probably clean them up, but the crush washer on the spark plug is technically a one-time use component, and it may not seal properly if it's already been compressed. New plugs are a small price to pay for ensuring a good seal, proper combustion, and optimal performance, so we recommend replacement every time. Check the gap on your new plugs. It should be around 40 thousandths inches, and torque the new plugs to around 18 foot-pounds. Now, put the valve covers back on with those fresh gaskets. Torque them to 80 inch-pounds for the 10 kW models and 60 inch-pounds for the 20 through 26 kW models. A little dab of Loctite on the bolts is a good idea too. Tighten them in a cross pattern for even pressure. Finally, put the panels back on, reconnect the spark plug wires, and double check everything before starting it up. Before we move on, a quick but important tip. I highly recommend filming your procedure each time you perform this service. This provides valuable documentation in case of any future engine issues. Manufacturers often request proof that maintenance was performed correctly and on schedule, and this video can be crucial in helping reduce warranty claims denials in the future. Also, this video focuses on valve adjustment. The 400-hour service also includes things like oil changes, battery checks, cleaning terminals, and firmware updates. We'll cover those in separate videos, so stay tuned. So, as you've seen, adjusting your valves is a multi-step process that requires specific tools, attention to detail, and a bit of experience. It's a task that demands precision to avoid potential problems. Now, consider the time investment required to gather the tools, learn the procedure, and perform the adjustment correctly. And what about the risk of making a mistake? That's where our professional service comes in. For $375, our certified technicians will handle everything. They have the expertise, the specialized tools, and the experience to do it right the first time, every time. Plus, having a professional perform your service provides an extra layer of insurance and documentation, ensuring your warranty remains intact should any engine issues arise down the line. It's an investment in long-term reliability of your generator and a valuable peace of mind. If your generator is due for a valve adjustment or any other maintenance, visit our website to schedule a service. The link is in the description below, but also save this video to your favorites for quick reference before the storm season and for future reviews. My name is Robert, and thank you for watching. We are here to keep you powered no matter what. I'll see you in the next one.